The real El Clasico is back, guys, and we are here to discuss about Mumbai Indians versus Chennai Super Kings. I've got Rupesh and Pratyay to discuss the same. We'll discuss about RR and DC match as well. But first, let me welcome my people. Pratyay, hi for MI, and Rupesh, hi for CSK. The rivalry is so good. We all are pretty excited, but there are some players who are going to miss out of this rivalry. First, let me tell you the toss update. Chennai has won the toss as usual, and they have opted to field first. But I've got some people who are missing out on this match. Those people, those players who are really relevant to the rivalry, who makes this rivalry alive. That is like Pollard, Bravo, they are not here. And then Stoke and Moeen Ali is out from CSK's side. No Jasprit Bumrah. Jofra Archer is also feeling some injury. I don't know what is happening to this one and what we're going to expect from this match, Rupesh.
To be really honest with you, like I'm an ardent fan of this El Clasico, and just like everyone else, I was also like looking forward to this particular clash. But as you rightly pointed out, some of the big names are currently missing out from both the teams. It's like Stokes and Moeen Ali have already been sidelined. Stokes, unfortunately, he has a sore heel, and in addition to that, he's also carrying a knee injury, because of which he hasn't been able to bowl a lot for Chennai Super Kings in the first two games that the side has played so far. In addition to that, I don't know what exactly is wrong with Moeen Ali, but yeah, Rahane and Wayne Pretorius have come into the playing 11 instead of both Stokes as well as Moeen Ali. So yeah, like I think Chennai must be feeling a tad bit disappointed because हम जानते हैं कि Stokes और Moeen Ali का कद क्या है when it comes to their performances in the international arena. But I think uske saath hi, I think it's a wonderful opportunity for someone like Ajinkya Rahane and also Dwayne Pretorius. Pretorius is someone who does not play international cricket anymore. He has already hung his international boots. तो उनके लिए भी एक चांस होगा to make a case for himself going forward in the longer run ताकि अच्छा करें और आगे जाके उनको CSK के लिए इस ongoing season में और opportunities मिलें.
Right, and Pratyay, for Mumbai, like there is no injury to Jofra Archer, but they are just being precautious about him. But I don't know, like being an MI fan, 2 seasons तक wait किया था Jofra Archer का. Last match में उन्होंने खेला, but he couldn't impress that much जो था, और still बुमराह की कमी खली, और इस match में he's out because they are being precautious. I don't know what to expect from this rivalry because it is CSK, not just a team where you can really be that easy. Like you have to play with your best people at all. How are we going to say this? Like, what are we going to do without Jofra Archer and Bumrah not being for the whole season?
See, I think the last couple of seasons have been a bit of a damp squib for Mumbai because last year they did not have Archer throughout the season. This year they do not have Bumrah, and even questions were raised. I mean, when they went as high an amount of 8 to 9 crores for Archer in the previous auction, there were people who were asking questions that why would you want to invest that kind of money? But it was clear that they had an eye on 2023 when they were pairing Bumrah and Archer, and it makes one of the most formidable and most daunting pairs in for fast bowlers. But again, I think it's slightly unfortunate because, as you pointed out already, that there are plenty of senior players that we are used to seeing in this clash. We are not going to have them because of a couple of retirements. There's no Bravo, there's no Pollard. Now you do not have even Stokes and Moeen Ali from Chennai and Archer from Mumbai. So I think, yes, both the sides are kind of toned down, perhaps a little bit more. They are kind of evenly matched to that extent also because plenty of players, big match players are missing from both the sides. So it's not like that one team is looking better or one team has better and big match players. But still, yeah, it does take off the sheen from the game because these are the players and these are the kind of plots that you wait to watch whenever you're talking about IPL's El Clasico. And I think it is indeed disappointing. But then it's the start of the season. I think the thought could be behind that it's a long season and you already do not have Bumrah. If at this stage you risk someone like an Archer and if you end up losing him, then it becomes a very dangerous affair. So maybe because of that, because otherwise I don't think that it's a kind of a game where you would want to rest a player. So perhaps it would be the case that he is perhaps sitting on the borderline of some injury, which is why you would want to prevent him for the entire season because MI has just played one single game, and that too they have lost by a good margin. So I think 13 more games to go. You do not want to risk someone of Archer's stature, specifically given in the backdrop that Bumrah is also missing.
Right. And like looking at Dhoni in Wankhede, like we all know it's like home ground for Mumbai Indians. But if we specifically talk about MS Dhoni, like we know what happened in 2011 World Cup. We know he has been given us the trophy and the reception he has got in the Wankhede Stadium. That stadium belongs to Mumbai Indians, but we all are very emotional when we see MS Dhoni back in Wankhede. Rupesh, I would like to ask you this question: like, what are your emotions when we see MS Dhoni in Wankhede playing? Like, we all know when he plays in Chepauk, it's a really different feeling. But when he plays in Wankhede, that is something else. Like that is we Indians celebrate, not just the Mumbai Indians fans or the CSK fans, but we Indians really celebrate that moment whenever we see Dhoni there.
I think those iconic visuals of him hitting Nuwan Kolasekara over long on for that six to win India the World Cup in 2011. I think it's hard to get past those particular visuals. And as you rightly pointed out, the Mumbai Cricket Association recently felicitated him because of that. Okay, and the kind of impact that MS Dhoni has had over the years as a player, as a captain, the kind of batter he has been over the years, I think that speaks volumes about his character as a player, as an overall player, not only as a leader. We know the kind of impact that he's had over the years as a leader is second to none, and there is absolutely no doubt whatsoever about it. But in addition to that, I think at times what I feel is the fact that MS Dhoni during his playing career was slightly underrated. As a batter, I think he also pushed himself lower down the order deliberately at times because he knew that there should have been someone to finish games lower down the order. So yeah, like as you rightly pointed out, those visuals of his doing well at the Wankhede, and in addition to that, what I also remember is the fact that I mean recently Kyron Pollard, just leading into this particular game, he pointed out the fact that whenever and wherever MS Dhoni travels in India, it is a home game for him. It's like a home game for him because the home crowd is going to back him no matter what. आज भी अगर वो वानखेड़े में खेल रहे हैं, and there will be a lot of Mumbai fans at the Wankhede. But in addition to that, there must be people, even the Mumbai fans for that matter, they would love to, they would love to make sure that MS plays a phenomenal knock for CSK, but MI ends up winning the game because that will be the icing on the cake for the Mumbai fans as well. तो ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं है कि CSK के लिए I think it is going to be a home away from home for them because it's going to be the an Indian crowd again coming up in large numbers. And as far as the initial visuals that I've seen, I think there are a fair amount of yellow shirts amid all those blue T-shirts. So I think it's not going to be an totally alien environment for the Chennai Super Kings as well.
राइट एंड थैंकफुली वानखेड़े में जो प्रोपोर्शन है ब्लू और येलो का वो इक्वली है, कुछ ऐसा नहीं है बिकॉज हमने देखा था सीएसके जहां जहां टूर करने के लिए गई है वहां वहां जितने येलो आर्मी पहुंची है उसके मुकाबले वानखेड़े में इट इज इक्वल एटलीस्ट वी आर हैप्पी अबाउट दिस बट लेट्स टेक अ लुक एट द हेड टू हेड बिकॉज वी नो एमआईसीएससी की राइवलरी ये ऐसे ही एल क्लासिको नहीं कही जाती, डेफिनेटली एक बड़ी राइवलरी है और इसीलिए इसके नंबर्स पर एक बार फोकस करेंगे कि आफ्टर ऑल हेड टू हेड क्या कहता है इन दोनों ही टीम्स का. लेट्स टेक अ लुक. Okay, I think the head-to-head is not there, but we can anyway talk about the player to watch out. So we have got Mumbai and CSK. Okay, so here it is, player to watch out. Suryakumar Yadav, he is there for Mumbai Indians. He can play. He has played 124 matches. He has scored 2,659 runs. He has scored 16 50s and definitely he's player to watch out. Though अभी थोड़ा सा उनके फॉर्म के साथ थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम चल रहा था. We all know what happened, but we know the impact of Suryakumar Yadav for sure. He is that kind of a player who can literally score a lot of runs जो एक पूरी टीम शायद एक बार में स्कोर ना कर पाए. He is that impactful player और इस मैच में भी हम एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे कि सूर्यकुमार यादव एक बड़ी इनिंग के साथ आए. वहीं अगर हम दूसरी तरफ सीएसके की बात करें तो वहां से we can see ऋतुराज गायकवाड़ becoming player to watch out. He has scored 38 matches. He has played 38 matches. He has scored 1,356 runs, 12 50s, and 100 under his name. I would like to ask this question to Pratyay as well, and so is to Rupesh. जब भी हम लोग मुंबई और सीएसके की बात करते हैं, की स्ट्रैटेजीज की बात करते हैं, वी नो मुंबई इंडियंस की टीम बहुत डेटा पर रन करती है, लाइक दे रिसर्च लाइक एनीथिंग, दे गो फॉर टीम मीटिंग्स, दे गो फॉर एनालिसिस एंड एवरीथिंग. बट मोस्टली हमने सीएसके को देखा है, लाइक वट एवर द रिसर्च दे विल डू, ultimately whatever Dhoni's instincts will say, they will do accordingly, and that has really paid them off really well. But what happened when Dhoni leave CSK team, when Dhoni leave IPL? What CSK gonna do then? I would start off with Pratyay.
Yeah, I think it's some of the voids are really not fillable. I think MS Dhoni, the kind of potential he has as a captain, I don't think there is anything left for him to be proved in the field, because he has won three ICC trophies, has won four-time IPL winner, one of the most consistent sides in the history of the tournament. So I don't think there is anything that he has not proved as a leader. And when someone like that walks out, you really can't fill those kind of voids. But I think as you correctly pointed out, it's not one of those data driven kind of franchises. CSK has not been that kind of a team, because you have a very instinctive leader leading them in Dhoni. He is someone who would rather want to rely on his instinct or what his beliefs are, or something that he thinks will work for the team, than seeing that whether I should employ leg spinner against a right hander, off spinner against a left hander. He's not one of those players. He's someone who would perhaps end up backing his players more and end up believing in in their capabilities more than following the numbers or data or the matchups for that regard. But I think both the teams, they actually end up proving that there is no right or wrong way, because you're talking about two teams that have in between them 9 trophies out of 15 that have been completed, and both the teams have actually tested their methods, and not just tested, they have successfully proven that there is no correct way of winning the trophies, because Mumbai has ended up winning it 5 times, Chennai 4 times. So it does not really matter. What matters is that are you following, as Dhoni always banks on and focuses on, are you doing the processes right? Because ultimately, if you are doing those things, they are eventually going to materialize into victories for your sides. And I think once he is out of this setup, uh, I think the problem with CSK has been that it's not that they do not have star players, but somewhere the aura of Dhoni has been so overwhelming and so overpowering that you really do not feel that there are other players around him. Because at the moment, in the last couple of years, specifically ever since his international retirement, CSK has all been about Dhoni. So once he goes out, stepping up and taking that kind of an image, taking that kind of a hole and filling that as a captain, as a batter, as a lower order batter, as a finisher, because he's playing multiple roles. He's not just a captain. He's your finisher. He's your wicket keeper as well. So he's playing multiple roles. So finding one perfect kind of a replacement perhaps will be very difficult. There are already talks that perhaps Rituraj Gaikwad could be one of the contenders to take that role. There's Ben Stokes as well, as Moeen Ali has recently pointed out. But I still think that he is one of those players whose legacy can actually not be matched. So it will actually be it's hard to imagine CSK without Dhoni. But then it has to happen some or the other day. But maybe just maybe one more another season, if at all we do, if at all we do see that. But I feel personally that this is going to be the last season for him. 41 years of age, he's still striking well, but I don't see him playing more than one season at best if he does. So yes, it's hard to imagine, but somewhere down the line, CSK will have to plan, will have to ponder over those things, and they will have to think that, of course, the brand Dhoni goes, but then who takes CSK's legacy and CSK's brand forward? Because at the moment, it's almost CSK is equal to Dhoni kind of an equation, and once he goes out, plenty will have to be changed.
Right, it is really difficult to imagine CSK without MS Dhoni, and even IPL without MS Dhoni for that matter. But definitely, Rupesh, we have to discuss this because, like we know, CSK का हमेशा से यही रहा है. They really follow MS Dhoni's instinct. But what they gonna do after that?
Uh, to be really honest with you, I think Pratyay summed it up really well. At this particular point of time, I think it is very tough to imagine CSK without MS, and this is purely because of the kind of stature that MS Dhoni has as a player and as a leader. I think the kind of contribution that he has had, like the way he has contributed towards Chennai Super Kings and their victories over the years, I think it is second to none, and that is the reason why like the franchisee has stuck with him, and he has been delivering it consistently on a daily basis, and that is what makes him like want to watch out for. But I think it's high time that the franchisee and MS as well starts grooming someone who could, take up that mantle once MS leaves actually. And I think it might be Ben Stokes, because I think in December last year when they had gone in for that mini auction that took place in Kochi. I think one of the reasons why they went hell for leather for someone like Ben Stokes was the fact that he's someone who has done exceedingly well for England as their red ball skipper recently, and he has transformed the way captaincy is seen in the red ball format. So I think that was one of the reasons, one of the primary reasons why they went for Ben Stokes more than Ben Stokes the player, because we all know, we have seen it over the years what Ben Stokes can deliver with the ball in hand and also with the willow in hand. I think in addition to that, they are looking at him as their next potential leader, someone who could take up that legacy of MS and who could continue to deliver those results for the Yellow Army in the days to come. Unfortunately, he is battling some of the injuries at this particular point of time. As I said at the initial start of the pre-show, that he's currently nursing a knee injury, and also I think he has complained of a sore heel. So they must be keeping their fingers crossed that as soon as possible, if Ben comes to his full fitness, I think it's just a matter of time that he hits the ground running.
Right. And as you were saying that Ben Stokes can captain CSK, maybe they are looking forward to him as the next leader. I can really not imagine, because we have seen MS Dhoni doing it, and then Ben Stokes, a foreign player, could come and do it. I don't know how to say this, but yeah, definitely they might be looking for him. That's why they have went for him. But if we discuss about this match particularly, if we talk about the positions of CSK and MI right now in this season, CSK has lost their first match against DC, but came back to the winning ways in their first home game against LSG by winning it by 12 runs, and they currently hold 2 points with the 0.036 NRR. If we talk about MI, then they have played just match against RCB and they have lost it like dramatically. They have lost it by 8 wickets, and their NRI is not even discussion worthy. But if we talk about this match particularly, MI must be more desperate than CSK to win the match. Number one, it is in their home ground. Number two, they have to win it, else they'll be really very back into this points table, and it will be difficult for them to come up the order. But if we discuss like the main problem of MI right now is that you have got Cameron Green. He's not playing that really well for you, but I think that person is required to open for Mumbai Indians. What happens if he open with Ishan Kishan and he can give a good start to MI? That would be really good thing for MI. Or should Ishan Kishan and Rohit Sharma should continue as an opener? Pratyay.
See, I think the problem is not just there. I think collectively as a unit, MI has not been able to show up and they haven't been able to deliver the goods. That has been one of the issues, not just in this year's edition, but they have characteristically been one of those teams that actually are very slow starters. So you will never, perhaps the last time they won their tournament opener was in 2012 when IPL was just still only 5 years old. It's in the 16th edition they consistently have been losing their first games. But I personally won't actually tinker the combination as far as Rohit Sharma is concerned. See, he's the captain of the side and he is an opener. There is no chance you can float him in the order. You of course expect some sort of flexibility, but we are seeing what is happening with Devdutt Padikkal at RR. I think it is important for the franchises to understand that you will have to play the players in their designated roles, because not everyone can be a Surya Kumar Yadav. You can ask him to perhaps finish the game. You can ask him to play an anchor sheet. He does everything, but not everyone has those kind of skill sets. At the moment, the biggest concern for me as far as MI is concerned is that neither amongst Kishan, Suryakumar and Rohit are actually in their form, and you cannot afford these three being out of form together. So that is one of the biggest problem that they are facing at the moment. And secondly, I think yes, Cameron Green has been a bit of a letdown given the fact that he was one of the most expensive buys at the auction, splurging over 15-16 crores over him, and then the kind of skill sets he has, because he's not just going to give you with the bat but with the ball as well. So I think that all-round capability of his hasn't been shown, but still would be really too early to judge, because it's just been one game. Yes, they were thumped in that game because not just the margin of victory, they were convincingly beaten by the game, because 4 overs to spare is what RCB managed to win the game by. So I think what they have to ensure is that in this league we have seen. I mean, the last year it was a 10th spot finish for them in the table, and in the last couple of years it hasn't been that kind of MI that we know them to be. So perhaps the trend has changed, and you can no longer call MI the kind of formidable unit they once used to be. It's also partly down to a couple of players who have the very experienced one, Balinga, Pollard, them having gone out of the setups, and now Tilak Verma coming of age, Tim Davids, and these people taking over. It's time for them. So I think these new players will have to understand that what kind of uh, team image they have at hand to carry. And as I said, that three players that MI are actually heavily reliant on as far as their batting unit is concerned. You cannot afford. I mean, MI cannot really afford having both. In fact, all three of Rohit, Kishan, and Suryakumar out of form at the moment. That is the biggest concern. I think even if two of them kind of hit the right strings, I still feel that MI has a very potent batting attack. With Tilak Verma showing in the previous game what he is capable of. Tim David, we know what he is capable of as an all-rounder. Cameron Green. So they have the firepower. It's just about them being able to manage to click in unison.
Right. So I think with that you have like quite summed it up like what was the problem with MI. But we can definitely take a look at the playing 11 of what MI has really chose for this particular match and what CSK has gone with, because they have got some changes due to injuries. Some were forced, but Mumbai Indians, as we can see, Rohit Sharma, Ishan Kishan, Cameron Green, Suryakumar Yadav, Tilak Verma, Tim David, Tristan Stubbs, Arshad Khan, Ritik Shokeen, Piyush Chawla, and Jason Parentroff. So these people have a big responsibility on their shoulder to play against CSK, which is going to be very difficult for them because, like, your main players, like Jofra Archer, is out of it. But let's take a look at CSK's playing 11 as well. Jeevan Convoy, Ruturaj Gaikwad, Ajinkya Rahane, Ravin Jadeja, MS Dhoni, Shivam Dubey, Dwayne Pretorius, Deepak Chahar, Mitchell Santner, Sisanda Magala, and Tushar Deshpande. A good 11 from both the side. But before we go forward with the discussion, Rajasthan Royals have won by 57 runs, जो कि हमारा पहला मैच था और हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे. It is a good win for Rajasthan Royals again. It's a good margin as well. The moment we get the match summary, we'll definitely take you there. But let's take a look at the social tracker till then to talk about like what discussion has been moving on. Okay, we have got match summary here. Rajasthan Royals have first scored 199 runs out of 4 wickets, and afterwards we know what Joss Butler did. He could do the best for Rajasthan Royals. He scored 79 runs. Yashasvi Jaiswal with 60 runs. He has played also really well. Mukesh Kumar took 2 wickets and Roman Powell 1 wicket. Then comes Delhi Capitals. They've scored only 142 runs. They couldn't finish it and they have lost 9 wickets over that. David Warner scored 65. Lalit Yadav scored 38. Then Yuji Chahal, he took 3 wickets and Trent Bolt 3 wickets. So we can see कि कौन सी टीम ने ज्यादा बड़ा यहाँ पर रश दिखाया है और दोनों ही टीम्स की तरफ से एक अच्छा कंपटीशन देखने को मिला. But it is a good win for Rajasthan Royals. Pratyay and Rupesh, I would like to take your opinion. Like Rajasthan Royals, they have done really great, but it is like the red alarm is blinking for Delhi Capitals this time. Like it has been their third straight loss in the tournament so far. How do you see this? Like Delhi Capitals looking at like that. I know they don't have a stable captaincy right now. Like Rishabh Pant was there, but then he got injured, he got ruled out. Then they've got David Warner in it, but it has been really tough time for him to understand and make him understand as well that what is happening with them. Pratyay.
Well, see, we were even discussing in the pre-show that yes, it's a new leadership setup, but it's not someone who hasn't had the experience of leading IPL side. In fact, he has ended up winning once the IPL
Yeah.
trophy with Sunrisers Hyderabad. So it's not that there is any dearth of ability or talent as far as leadership credentials are concerned for Warner. But at the moment, it's just that Delhi are perhaps not hitting the right notes because even in this game, I think it was one of those tracks we knew that it's going to be a high-scoring game. The only phase where they were all right because with the bat it never kind of took off. At no point of time did you feel right at the start when they were jolted with a couple of blows, courtesy of Trent Bolt. After that, they were constantly playing the catch-up game, and even with the ball, the kind of hitting, the kind of beating that Jaiswal and Butler gave to their bowling attack at the start. If you're chasing something close to 200, you have to have a good start, and that is something that they haven't been able to manage even in one single game thus far. So I think one of the issues is that, again, as I said previously, once again, that the batting unit, you have Warner, but he is not being able to do what he is known to do because you are scoring the 60s and 70s But if they are coming in 50 or 55 balls, perhaps you are doing more harm to your side than advantage. Today,
Mm,
for once, you can argue that he was perhaps trying to hold one end up because
mm,
constantly wickets were falling from another end. But then you also have to ensure that while holding at one end up, if you are the responsible batter, if you are the senior batter, you're supposed to take more responsibility, show a little bit more intent, try to take on the bowlers, because this was a track which was true. We saw the kind of shots that Jaiswal and Butler played, and the pitch did not really change too much during its course, given the fact that it was also a day game, so there was no influence of dew either. So I think bogging down under pressure is something that has been happening with the Capitals. Three losses, and the biggest worry for them is that all of them have been big margins. They lost by 50, then I guess by 5 or 6 wickets, and now again by 57 odd runs. So these are all losses which are taking a huge dent on your net run rate, and teams have qualified even on as low points as 14, so you can still perhaps back yourself, but then you need sort of help from other teams and other kind of things going your way. They still have a chance. Of course, it's still very early days
mm.
in the tournament, but they have to bounce back to winning ways as quickly as possible.
Right. Rupesh, your opinion on Delhi Capitals, how they should come up with the positivity, which I don't see right now in that group at all. But how can they really get to the positive thing?
I think what they desperately need at the moment is one win in their kitty, because I think, like as people say that winning at times can become a habit. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's the same with losing as well. I think their losing streak is, they need to snap this losing streak. Unfortunately, what I feel at this particular point of time that is happening with Delhi Capitals is, I think David Warner is living under a lot of pressure. I think he is doing the heavy lifting for them at this particular point of time, because initially we saw that they gave a few like a couple of opportunities to Mitchell Marsh up the order. Mitchell Marsh could not come good, although he did really well for the Australian cricket team in initially against India in the ODI series, in the three-match ODI series, which recently culminated. And I what I personally thought was, I think Mitchell Marsh wanted to capitalize on that batting form, but it did not happen for him. And it's a sport at the end of the day, and these kind of things actually happen. Unfortunately, what has tormented them further is the fact that Riley Russo, who is one of their gun overseas picks, he also has not been able to score a lot of runs for them, and he has not been able to capitalize on his PSL form, because we saw what he did in the recently culminated Pakistan Super League. I think he was the one who broke that record for scoring the fastest century, and then he was overtaken by another Pakistani player. So unfortunately, David Warner at this particular point of time is having a lot of things to do, like all at once, because he is not only leading them, but in addition to that, he also has to open the batting alongside Prithvi Shaw, and lead from the front. So I think it's becoming really difficult for him. In addition to that, what we saw was Andrik Nokia did really well in the last game, but unfortunately he could not deliver the goods when it mattered in this particular match. So they also need someone who could, lead them when it comes to the bowling front. I potentially feel that Andrik Nokia can be that particular person, because he has done it for the Delhi Capitals in the past alongside Kagiso Rabada. Now that Kagiso Rabada is no longer there, I think it's high time that he, takes up that responsibility and delivers for them. Because once Andrik Nokia starts delivering performances, like once he starts delivering for them consistently, I think the rest of the pack will eventually start following on his footsteps. So yeah, I think what they desperately need at this particular point of time is one victory, and once they get that in their back, I think things will turn around for them dramatically.
Right, great. Thank you so much for your opinion on Delhi Capitals. Let's take a look at the social tracker of MI versus CSK, because people have been discussing about this match, and we definitely gonna look forward to their conversations. Now, there is a tweet. Other IPL teams by looking at the excitement of MI versus CSK match today. यही पावर मुझे भी चाहिए. Definitely इस तरह की पावर मुझे भी चाहिए, and we can see how really fans do behave. Now it's like a meme on Mumbai Indians match day El current cut classico, because we do remember this. CSK team generator लेकर के जा रही है कि अब की बार अगर बिजली कटी, we are not gonna take this at all. So it's a meme, definitely not there, very sure about it. Next tweet. MI versus CSK match is supposed to start at 7:30. Meanwhile, they're crazy fans. MI versus CSK. We can see like जिस तरह की fan fights वानखेड़े के बाहर हो रही थी. If you guys don't know, you can just simply go to CricTracker's Instagram page to get to see all the reels on the public reaction and their fan fights happening. Like after this Wankhede, outside the Wankhede stadium. But definitely वो fights कुछ ऐसे ही हैं, so you can just simply watch and enjoy all the content we have covered for you. Let's take a look at another tweet. Here's the tweet. Players getting ready for tomorrow's match. We can see how okay, great. How do really people do it? Okay. Any other tweet to come? Well, thank you so much for taking us through the social tracker. Thank you so much, Pratyay and Rupesh, for joining us for this conversation. And definitely do watch us for the post show after MICSK match, because हम यहाँ पर डिस्कस करेंगे क्रिकेट, आपकी ओपिनियन लेंगे और डेफिनेटली आपको सारी अपडेट्स देंगे. जुड़ेंगे हमारे साथ प्रत्यय और रुपेश भी, बट आप भी जरूर जुड़िएगा और देखते रहिएगा क्रिक ट्रैकर इन दी एयर शो.